Responsible horse owners know to vaccinate their horses against common diseases, but may not know much about the specific diseases that can affect their animals. Today we are going to talk about equine encephalomyelitis, which is a group of viral diseases that affect horses. Commonly called sleeping sickness because infected horses become profoundly depressed to the point where they are incapable of standing or walking, equine encephalomyelitis causes a degeneration of the central nervous system. There are three different strains of equine encephalomyelitis: Eastern, Western, and Venezuelan. The Eastern strain is the most severe of the three, with a mortality rate of 75% or higher. The Western strain is the most widespread, but least severe, with a mortality rate of less than 50%. The Venezuelan strain can be incredibly variable among individuals and has a mortality rate between 40 and 80%. This strain has not been seen in the United States since 1971 and is a reportable disease, meaning that any cases confirmed within U.S. borders must be reported to the state veterinarian. We are going to focus on Eastern and Western equine encephalomyelitis because they are the most relevant strains of the disease for horse owners in the United States. They are also public health concerns because they can infect humans. Western equine encephalomyelitis is usually found in states west of the Mississippi as well as in South America. In 2014, the majority of Eastern equine encephalomyelitis in the United States was located along the eastern coast and in Gulf Coast states. Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, and Florida reported having more than 25 cases in 2014. The western and northwestern side of the U.S. has had no reports of the disease. These diseases are spread through birds and mosquitoes. Birds act as a reservoir host for the virus, often showing no symptoms of the disease. The mosquitoes, which act as vectors, bite an infected bird and then transfer the virus to the next animal host. Once a horse is infected, mosquitoes can spread the disease between horses by biting an infected horse and then feeding on an uninfected one. The horse is considered a dead-end host, therefore the disease cannot be transmitted directly from horse to horse. Humans can be infected from being bitten by infected blood-sucking insects or handling the central nervous system tissues of infected animals. Symptoms can come on rapidly and can be very severe. Symptoms include fever, depression, behavioral changes, coma, and possibly death. Neurological symptoms include impaired vision, muscle twitching, circling, trouble swallowing, paralysis, and convulsions. If your horse displays any of these symptoms, they should be brought to a vet immediately. These diseases cannot be diagnosed purely on symptoms because there are other diseases that exhibit the same symptoms. Blood and cerebrospinal fluid tests must be run in order to get an accurate diagnosis. Once diagnosed, treatment for the disease consists of corticosteroids, anticonvulsants, and supportive measures such as intravenous fluids, tracheal intubation to help maintain the airway, and antipyretics to stop excessive sweating from fever. If an animal recovers, they are often left with permanent damage to their central nervous system. There are many methods available that can help to prevent the spread of equine encephalomyelitis. The first is to vaccinate for the different strains, which can be done through a combination vaccine that treats for all of them. A killed vaccine is used because of the severity and high mortality rate of the disease. If a live vaccine were given, there is a possibility that it could make the horses sick, which is why this type is not used. Vaccination should be done in the early spring before mosquitoes begin to become prevalent so horses are able to develop immunity before being bitten. Along with vaccinating, preventative measures are used to control the mosquito population. Water troughs should be cleaned regularly, and standing water should be minimized. Spraying with products safe for horses can also help to lower mosquito numbers. Equine encephalomyelitis can be a severe disease with permanently crippling effects. There are three strains, but two of them, the Eastern and Western, are present in the United States. Horses should be vaccinated in early spring for both strains, and equine facility managers should have plans in place to reduce mosquito populations. If your horse ever begins to show neurological symptoms or comes down with a high fever or sudden behavior changes, take them to the vet immediately. With proper vaccination protocols and a good management, the incidence of equine encephalomyelitis can be greatly reduced.